Hello everyone, this is a mini album I created for a friend of mine who wanted to give it as a gift to her coworker, and her coworker just loves Edward Cullen. The theme of the book is focused on a vintage modern type look. We wanted to do that because Edward is from a time from long ago and he's living in the modern world. I decided to place a lot of antique pieces and modern pieces in the book to represent that dichotomy. So let me open the book. It is held together with a clasp from a bracelet I had, and the ribbon and everything coordinates with the front cover. This acetate piece has time icons on it, which represents something that's timeless, which Edward Cullen is. We did border punches, and this border punch represents something Gothic, as well as the back page represents something modern because it looks kind of grunge. The keys, antique, everything. So we're trying to stay within that theme. We left the cover, I left the cover very simple in order to focus on Edward Cullen, because that's who the book is about. It's about him. As I turn to the inside cover, I place the Cullen's crest. It's very dimensional. I cut it with my Cricut. And it's in a matte finish. My friend is also a lover of Twilight, and for her to make this book for her, she wanted to place a dedication for my fellow Twilighter in a type of Gothic font, because as you can see, the flourishes and swashes are very Gothic. And with someone who has a crest, will live in a place where I have a very big gate, a very ornate gate. And as I turn to the inside cover, you will see the Cullen crest, which is very dimensional, and it's in a matte finish. Also, it says, from my fellow Twilighter. My friend as well loves Twilight, as does her co-worker, and she wanted to dedicate it to her fellow Twilighter. As with someone who has a crest, they also would have a nice big ornate gate to enter into their compound, and I wanted to do that as well. Before you could enter into a book, you have to pass through a gate, in which I placed one here. I wanted it to look very old. Since Edward is over 100 years old, the gate would look old, it would look rusted. So I tried to accomplish that by sanding and everything like that. And it represents, I love this gate. It really looks nice. So as we open the gate, you come to the cover page, and it says Genesis. And Genesis is basically the beginning of Edward's life, how we're going to proceed throughout Edward's life. The album basically tells a story, and with this, we're starting at the beginning. With this is I created with a, a bracelet piece, and I just printed out the beginning, glossy accented it, and adhered it to the page. As you can see, a very nice picture of Edward in an old, nice antique-like frame. Once again, backed with a grunge-like paper. Right here, you have a swivel, which represents who Edward is and what he goes through. He's good versus evil, and it represents everything who he is. He's charming, dazzling, He's collected. He's also moody, and he's very stubborn. And it represents a lot of things. He's intense. He's a hero. This is a piece that I cut with my Cricut, and I stamped and embossed a nice flourish on the corner. This is a pocket piece that I saw Laura Dennison do on Following the Paper Trail on one of her YouTube videos, and I thought it would be cool to hold the tags. And throughout the book, I have all these holders, these little pockets to hold the different tags. This tag is Edward, and he would be on his piano when he's playing Bella's lullaby. And when you think of Edward, he's a unique individual. And at the back, we left place for my friend's co-worker to place her impressions about the individual or the page or what have you. I decided to create, since Edward, his birth certificate and his death certificate, and I found an old birth certificate online, and I just replicated, putting Edward's name. I designed it on my computer. I antiqued it so it could look vintage. Because he's born in 1901, so it has to look old. And his death certificate, also found the turn-of-century death certificate online, and which I try to replicate using the information that we got from the book, when he died, what he had, And since Carlisle's the one who turned him, I placed Carlisle's name as the one who filled out his death certificate. On this page, I'm going to show her how she constantly looks at Edward Cullen, that she feels something for Edward Cullen, and the different scenes that she constantly looks at him. And finally, he says to her, "You're my life now." And he realizes that as well. Now, this is a sectional page. It says lifetime acceptance. As you saw in the beginning, we had Genesis. This is the next section, lifetime acceptance, which shows when they begin to accept one another. And it goes through the different scenes to show how she informs him that she knows who he is. And I try to make a nice creepy-like tree to represent the forest that they were in when she confronts him. And I have tags that represent the forest with the leaves, and the back for the impressions. And on this page, when they finally accept each other with the famous saying, "And so the lion fell in love with the lamb." And you see them in the meadow, and I try to represent the meadow with the punches. And she says, "I know what you are," and that doesn't matter to her. And this is the tag that represents this page. Once they've accepted each other, they're inseparable. And on this page, I tried to show them together from every scene, from twilight, new moon, eclipse, and all of this translate into what eventually occurs. He asks her to marry him. And you can see this page I put as the proposal page. Yeah, Edward finally asks Bella to marry her, and it says right there, in this nice, beautiful frame. It says, "Will you marry me?" And when you pull this down, you see the word yes, which Bella says. I got this from Enjoy Stamping on her YouTube site. And you could see in this picture how Bella is hugging Edward, and she has accepted his proposal. And with the proposal, we come and find that they live happily ever after. For everyone who's read the book, we know that they live happily ever after. And I wanted to represent that here. These are dimensional. Cut it with my Cricut. And this is a sticker. The book just basically, it went through a story to tell the story between Edward from his point of view. Now, since the co-worker is a lover of Twilight, she is also a lover of the characters, of the actors. So this page, which says Players,